My life's a ripper. My life is beaut. Here's Jimmy Blunt here. He's my mate. He's beautiful. So beautiful. James Blunt, singing with me tonight on Enough Rope, 9:35. Be there. They tell us the music industry is at death's door, that the CD is a thing of the past. Well, in the last 18 months, 9 million people have wandered into record stores and bought the debut album by my next guest. Millions more have taken his intensely personal lyrics to heart. Here to show us exactly why, singing Goodbye My Lover, please welcome Mr. James Blunt.
Did I disappoint you or let you down? Should I be feeling guilty or let the judges frown? 'Cause I saw the end before we'd begun. And yes, I saw you were blinded, and I knew I had won. So I took what's mine by eternal right. Took your soul out into the night. It may be over, but it won't stop there. I am here for you, if you'd only care. You touched my heart, you touched my soul, you changed my life and all my goals. And love is blind, and that I knew when my heart was blinded by you. Have kissed your lips and held your head, shared your dreams and shared your bed. I know you well, I know your smell. I've been addicted to you. Goodbye, my lover. Goodbye, my friend. You have been the one. You have been the one for me. Goodbye, my lover. Goodbye, my friend. You have been the one. You have been the one for me. I am a dreamer, and when I wake, you can't break my spirit. It's my dreams you take. And as you move on, remember me. Remember us and all we used to be. I've seen you cry, I've seen you smile. I've watched you sleeping for a while. I'd be the father of your child. I'd spend a lifetime with you. I know your fears and you know mine. We've had our doubts, but now we're fine. And I love you, I swear that's true. I cannot live without you. Goodbye, my lover. Goodbye, my friend. You have been the one. You have been the one for me. Goodbye, my lover. Goodbye, my friend. You have been the one. You have been the one for me. And I still hold your hand in mine when I'm asleep. And I will bear my soul in time when I'm kneeling at your feet. Goodbye, my lover. Goodbye, my friend. You have been the one. You have been the one for me. Goodbye, my lover. Goodbye, my friend. You have been the one. You have been been the one for me. I'm so hollow, baby. I'm so hollow. I'm so hollow. I'm so hollow, baby. I'm so hollow. I'm so hollow.
Come to the chair. That's great, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
Welcome to the show, or should I say greetings, descendant of King Gorm of Denmark.
Well, don't know what he's on about.
But you are.
Apparently so. I don't remember it.
Is there not
It was over 1,000 years ago.
There's not a Viking salute in your families?
Actually, we do have a special salute.
Yes?
Because my father was in the army, same as me, and there was a time where he commanded a regiment. So he was colonel of a regiment, and obviously, you know, if you see the commanding officer, you salute the colonel. And there was a time when he lost 2 fingers in a lawnmower, and so the regimental salute became like that, as respect for an out of the window, and they continued to take the mickey out of him.
My father lost the top of 2 of his fingers. He used to terrify kids by sticking them up his nose as though...
Our fathers are very similar.
Is that right? We're off to a good start. That song you just sang, Goodbye My Lover, was, for you on the album, the most important song. That was the one about the girl who was the one. Have you sung her out of your system?
I've sung it a lot. No, you know, it hasn't got me the girl back, but I'm sure it'll get me laid.
Can you teach me the chord structure? It's a very painful thing to do, to keep putting yourself through that memory, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I think as a performer, on a daily basis, you go back to the moment that you wrote the song and the emotion that came from that, whether it be a sad song, whether it be a happy song in any way, and it's your job really to take people on an emotional journey. So you have to really throw yourself into that, and yeah, that can be hard. But at the same time, I find it really rewarding because lots of people say that they relate to the song or the songs as a whole, and so you get a feedback from people, which is the rewarding thing.
And you
I
get
guess
laid.
Because yes, I hope. I guess because you know the mind can be a lonely place, and at the same time performing it out with other people saying they feel the same way, you recognise that that many ways humans are very similar.
You recorded that song in Carrie Fisher's bathroom. How did that happen?
Yeah, I did. I was staying with Carrie Fisher, who's, as you know, an actress and a writer now, and really it's because we ran out of money making this album. I was on an independent record label called Custard, and I had a very small budget, but a great producer, and we spent most of the money for a week in an expensive studio, then went to his home studio, and then I said I want to use a piano for this song, by which stage we had no more money. So we started looking around for a piano, and fortunately, Princess Leia had one in her bathroom.
She has a piano in her bathroom?
They all do in Hollywood. And
doesn't it warp with the steam?
So, I don't know, maybe she had cold baths, I'm not sure. But it seemed to do the trick, and, you know, people sing in the shower, so where better place?
It's a fascinating concept. The song You're Beautiful, which everybody, it seems, sings. My football team sings it before games.
That's a lie.
As a motivational song. They haven't won a game this year, I hasten to add.
Yeah.
But everybody sings it. I want to show a clip of it now for the few people out there that may not be familiar with it.
Why did you cut it there? You know, the next bit's the most impressive, where you get to see my erect nipples.
Have you been surprised at the power of a song?
Yeah, absolutely. For me, it was... I mean, it's a very personal song still, about a moment in London on the Underground where I saw my ex-girlfriend with her new man, who I didn't know existed. But that second was literally just a second in my life, and I've written a 3.5 song about the feeling, but for it to have gone across the world in a way and connected in this way has completely taken me by surprise, yeah.
But people have got married to it. You actually had someone propose at one of your concerts to this song?
Absolutely. Yeah, in a box, someone got off his chair, and I could see him in his box kneel down in front of this girl and suddenly realised what was going on. And it was a panic on stage, really thinking, Christ, don't get it wrong now, otherwise his only memory will be this band. start off on a, you know, but it seemed to work for them.
Yeah, you sang it at Elton John's wedding. What was that like?
Yeah, it was wonderful. I always had ambitions to be a wedding singer, and and failing that, you know, maybe the cruise ships. But I think aim for the top, and it was certainly, you know, the top wedding one could ever play. It was a remarkable day and really very special. It was a huge honour to play there.
The thing about You're Beautiful is that you're going to be singing that for the rest of your life, wherever you go.
Thanks for reminding me.
Yeah, but there's the question: how are you getting on with that concept?
Well, I'm on a world tour at the moment, and I'm doing the whole of this album, Back to Bedlam, every single day. It's not just the one song, and I'm very comfortable with that, because really every day there's a new audience and they bring their own character. When I played here in Australia now for a few days, and hearing them sing the words in an Aussie accent is a different experience to me, and it keeps it fresh and it keeps it new.
You're bloody beautiful.
Yeah.
You're a ripper.
It is close to that.
It is.
And so yeah, for me that's great, and I throw in new songs along the way.
You've also had the experience in Rome of having like 750,000 people sing back to you. Is that an emotional thing, to have your words sung back at you by that many people?
No, it's just bloody scary. No, it was, yeah, I think it's in a way overwhelming, just seeing a sea of faces and hearing these words come back. At the same time, I think it can be more intimidating if it's just one person. If I pulled out my guitar now and played just to you, it'd be quite full on. So that kind of an audience is more of a celebration, really.
Would one of our nipples get erect?
I don't know about you.
Just in the lights a touch. The reason I asked about emotion, because you've said, you know, I'm not very emotional, just ask any of my ex-girlfriends. Is what you mean by that the best way for you to express emotion is in a song?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. But also, on Back to Bedlam, there are 2 songs about girls, and there are 8 songs about a whole host of other subjects. And so, yeah, we've got 20% of this album, and people do seem to focus on that because we had a very successful single on the back of it. But yeah, there's 80%, which shows I'm much more of a rascal than a romantic. And yeah, and being a Brit, I am emotionally stunted. So,
Is that the national characteristic?
I think it used to be.
Yeah.
And yeah, but through song, I definitely can capture it. I mean, everyone presumably has some form of emotion inside, and I find language limiting, but I can capture it in a song. You
were a captain in the British Army in the NATO peacekeeping forces, and one of the things you were asked to do was to sing songs to boost morale. What sort of songs did you sing?
I certainly didn't sing Goodbye My Lover to a bunch of soldiers.
No, that would have picked them up before battle. So what did you sing?
Well, really anything. I think you pick your audience. I can't even remember what the songs were called. We had one which I just changed the words to being called "What a Waste of a Day."
Yeah.
And you know, this kind of healthy soldiers sing-along song. But yeah, the occasional in a war zone, it's amusing to sing "Give Peace a Chance" while you're driving around in your tank.
Did you get a lusty chorus from the rest of the company?
The whole battlefield.
Is that right? How charming. John Lennon would be thrilled, wouldn't
Yes.
he? The thing when you're singing, of course, you said you wouldn't sing Goodbye My Lover. Is it okay to show your sensitive side in the army, or did you keep that very much to yourself?
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's a really tight-knit team of people, and it's strange. People often ask me about, God, it's amazing that you have any kind of creative element, artistic element in you because you were in the army, and that confuses me, because if you just take away people's uniforms, you find underneath that they are skin and bone, and really they're what you call humans. So yeah, in that environment, it's a tight-knit team, and you're doing a job which we're all getting our heads down, but we recognise that people will need support at different stages. You talk about national characteristics. You only have to think of people like Siegfried Sassoon and Wilfred Owen and Rupert Brooke, who were in the army but wrote extraordinarily powerful poetry. Absolutely. It's not just restricted to the uniform. Yeah, and I think in those environments, often that's a great way of documenting what's going on around you. I was involved in a place that was incredibly destructive. It was seeing human beings at their worst. And many people find themselves writing journals or a diary, and rather than that, I wrote some songs. You did more than that. You also videoed a lot of it. You were one of the first NATO peacekeepers into Kosovo, a particularly brutal war, and you wrote a song about it while you were there. It took you 10 minutes to write No Bravery, and the clip involves some of... Seeing those kids is particularly moving. You were only 22 when you went in there.
Does that stay with you?
Yeah, absolutely. Any experience on that level will stay in the mind forever, and so should it. I think it was a really great education. I come from a very protected and safe country and background, and I was going to a place where food and shelter and life itself couldn't be taken for granted, and I'm really glad I got that opportunity to go there. I also have the huge privilege of, after 6 months, being able to come home, and there are many people who still live out there, but there are many other places in the world where people's lives are in turmoil every single day.
Why did you decide to film it? What were you expecting when you went in?
Well, I took a video camera because I wanted to document what was going on as a video diary, really. It's just easier than writing things down to an extent. And I was also, when I got there, quite reluctant to then video many of the scenes that I did witness, because it seemed a bit abhorrent to start filming death on a massive level. So really it was only towards the end of the time that I then decided actually I really should probably try and document some of these more abhorrent scenes, because if I didn't, then I wouldn't be really capturing everything that was there.
You were only 22, you were a captain, you were responsible for people's lives in the middle of a war. Did you feel in charge, or was a part of you waiting for the adults to arrive?
No, I felt very much in command of what I was responsible for. I wasn't alone. I was with a team of people, and although I've been only in for a couple of years, I had soldiers all around who'd been in for a lot longer, and you take advice from the experts, and you take responsibility for your decisions, but if you don't consult those around you, you'd be a real fool.
When was your leadership most tested?
I guess it's tested on a daily basis, and you...
Can you give an example?
There were moments, there was a bit of a confusing time when we first went in, and we were told to race the Russians to the airport in Pristina, and we were told that by all means we had to beat them to the airport, and then when we didn't beat them, because the Serbs obviously stopped us getting there, it was a big political coup, and the Russians had beaten us to the airport, and we were told we had to then remove them by force, which is quite a confusing message, because the Russians were supposedly on our side at that time, and when we really tried to clarify what force meant, they went, yeah, through ultimate force, and we had 200-odd Russians lined up with weapons, and 30,000 of us sort of piled behind me and a group of soldiers, and we were told, yeah, this is it, off you go, which to me I understood meant, okay, well, that's kind of our definition of World War III in some way, isn't it? And it took a lot of calming down of a situation, really, and trying to reason with superior officers at one stage before more sensible decisions could be passed back down to us. You
were reasoning with your superior officers?
No, my superior officers were pretty clear thinking about that.
Right, okay.
There were some others who I wouldn't point the finger at this stage.
No. But that's an extraordinary situation to be in.
Yeah, remarkable, really. But fortunately, armies in this day and age have the ability to question their orders and say, hang on, I know I've been given this mission, but I don't know if it makes entire sense to me. And I think gone are the days where soldiers just do blindly what they're told to do, but they are actually in a position to use their own power of reason.
Were you, if you had to, were you prepared to kill?
I was a reconnaissance officer during the bombing campaign and very much involved during that phase of the bombing campaign. I think there are moments in one's life where it's very clear what you should be doing. We went to a place where there were soldiers who were murdering people, and we went and reasoned with them and said, stop murdering these people, and they carried on murdering them, and eventually say, if you murder them, we will use force, and they continue to murder them, and at that stage the power of reason is gone, and so you have to carry out your threats.
After the war, when you started with your music career, and you spent time with Carrie Fisher, she described you at that time as having been through such an intense period, as disassociated from your emotions. Were you aware of feeling that way?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a very easy way of not necessarily getting too overly affected by what you've done. I think you just see doctors often find themselves dealing with what's their jobs in a humorous way, and I think soldiers probably do the same.
How do you associate again? How do you get it back?
I don't know. I'm not in therapy, if that's what you're asking. Well, I haven't been in that situation again, so I don't have to deal with many of those things. I feel very comfortable with the past in that way. I'm really not troubled by it. But I guess for me, as I said, what I was saying before is that I turned up for a 6-month period, and so I played a role and a part as you know, an army officer, and we acted in the way that we were asked and were supposed to act, but then can come back and go down to the pub and have a pint.
Yeah.
And so for that 6 months, you can turn on a switch, I think, for that 6-month period, act like you can, and then come back and be normal again, which is what I was saying, which is so sad for those who have to stay there.
What do you think it is in your songs that's reached so many people?
I don't know, because I didn't expect it to, but what I would guess at is maybe they're very honest, and as these kind of honest, open ideas, maybe it's because as humans we all do share the same planet at the same time, and we're just trying to get by through life, and so maybe we have those same emotions, be they happy or sad.
There's also been, as there usually is with any artist who sells a lot of records, a backlash. There's a lot of young people for whom James Blunt is the definition of unhip. What do you think that's about?
I think that's a very healthy expression of what music is all about. Of course, when I first put my album out, we had some very positive reviews, and it was under the radar. We didn't chuck a whole load of posters and adverts out about it. We put it out with no advertising for a few months and let it bubble and boil and see if it would grow through word of mouth, and the response was very positive. And then eventually the album hit #1 and exploded and went much bigger than I'd ever anticipated. And as a result, you get people who absolutely love it, and as a result you also get people who really would prefer, you know, not to hear it. I think that's really healthy, and music is not about formulas, it's about people's opinions. And if some people choose like mine and others people would prefer like other music, then I'm very glad for that.
Do you get surprised sometimes at the intensity with which people want to take exception to your music? I've seen a website which is You're Beautiful, but you're gullible, with a doll of you singing and tomatoes being thrown at you.
I have quite a high score on that website.
Do you?
Yeah.
But do you look at that?
I did. I've cleared over 100 points.
Is that right?
Now. Yeah.
Do you look at it and wonder why people get so intense about a song?
No, not at all. I think, you know, it's there, it's prevalent, and so if something's put its head above the parapet, people will take a shot at it, and you know, that's the industry in which we're in. I totally expect that.
When you were at uni, you wrote your thesis on the commodification of image, the production of a pop idol. Did you see the backlash coming before it came?
No, you're so well researched. Not even my parents know that. No, well, I was kind of writing it long before the notion of what a pop idol was from the television program has completely changed the definition of it, really. But no, I didn't expect this kind of extremity, really, of passion in one way and then loathing in another. That's you know, it's extreme. I think it's a lot of the nature of the world we live in. There is people idolise now, and I think probably for the wrong reasons. We have a notion of celebrity, and I think we should probably focus on doctors and nurses and firemen and a whole wealth of other people who do far more on a life and death level, and idolise them instead.
Your family, your father and grandfather, there's a military tradition. What do they make of your career?
My dad was really nervous when I first said that I was going to do music. He said that I should stick with a safe job with its career prospects and steady income. And now he's my #1 fan. I've got him turning up to shows selling my T-shirts. So yeah. When
Carrie Fisher was talking about you, she referred to fame as a magnifier.
Where's she been saying all this stuff?
She's just out the back there now. She's fixing up our bathroom. She said fame is a magnifier. What's it magnified in you?
I'm much bigger with no clothes on.
That's a claim you got to back up.
I hear you guys have budgie smugglers. I have a parrot smuggler.
Is that right? Speaking as a falcon smuggler, I'm impressed.
Damn it.
As you said, you wrote this album largely for yourself. You've said that in many interviews, and you didn't expect anywhere near as many people to hear it. Who are you going to write the second album for?
I will go back to doing exactly the way I did the first, which is doing songs as a form of a diary and documenting those ideas and thoughts that I have in my own mind. And I'm sure there'll be pressures from various people to try and make it commercially viable. But this next one, which will be fully instrumental, using African instruments only, will be just about an expression of what it is that I feel, and that's the importance and relevance to me. And if I can hold out one copy of my second album and say, yeah, I enjoy this and I like it, that's much more relevant. I think it's going back to the definition of what is musical success, and it's not about the number of units you sell, it's about what you take from music, your enjoyment from music, how you express it, and if you can connect and touch other people along the way, that's the most important thing.
Are you seriously making this next one with African?
No, I'm not.
No, it sounded good. But as you say, so it's a diary, but your experience since writing this first album has been the experience of becoming James Blunt. James Blunt! Is your diary not going to be about this experience? How are you going to
well, no, I hope not
go
to be
to the
writing it
heart?
about hotel rooms and interviews. I think my life is much the same as it was before, in that I work with a bunch of musicians and I travel the world and I play to some people. And my friends and my family and the people I work with, my relationship with them is the same. They abuse me every single day, and I will write about that abuse. And so I still live as an individual rather than any kind of branded object.
So the joy of fame is not necessarily, certainly not the recognition, not necessarily the income. The joy of fame is who you get to meet, access to people who you wouldn't have met otherwise.
Yeah, I think connecting with people is a great moment. I don't really enjoy the notion of the loss of one's anonymity as being famous. I think that's a very strange phenomenon. And also, if people do treat you in any different way, I find that's strange. People can prejudge you because of the notion of celebrity, and that's unusual. Again, I'm just a normal person. But I have this amazing job where I go around the world and I play to lots of people, and people turn up to the shows and they seem to enjoy them and connect with them, and I'm living a way of life that I've dreamt about and loving it.
Well, look, I look forward to your next album with a song about the falcon smuggler.
Okay, and we'll know who it's about.
We certainly will. James Blunt, thank you very much.
It's a pleasure.